Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrying throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different, and if you're returning, welcome back. You know how we do. If it doesn't resonate with you, if you're forcing the story to fit, arguing with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to dive right into this. I already have something that's kind of tapping into me, and I'm going to talk about that here in a second, I feel like. But first, I have this card out because when I sit down, sometimes I'll shuffle through some of my decks, and this card kept coming out, so I'm taking this one. And I'm being told that we'll get to this, but we're not there yet, okay? So I am definitely connecting to somebody's, it's a guide that somebody has here. It's a very protective being. This is a being that you may or may not necessarily be aware of, but it seems to connect in a little bit stronger whenever we have something that's recently ended, or some sort of shock tower moment sort of energy happen inside of our life. So the collective I'm reading for, I feel that something has recently ended. This feels like a drastic change, whatever it is. And I don't know that this is necessarily going to be the collective I've been reading for. There's a little bit of an energy change in this. If I'm honest, it's like a shade. I see it as color, and I'm seeing like a shade change. It's a slight shade change. Some of you may resonate with the previous readings, but I do feel that for the majority of you, if the previous readings have resonated for you, you may find that you drop off on this one. This is a different collective, by and large. So one of the things that's taking place here is with this rapid transformation, rapid destruction is how it's being given to me. For some of you, it's self-inflicted. It's like, I'm different now. I don't need this anymore. And so we've destroyed something. For many of you, though, it was something that just happened, and there's like this feeling of loss or grief or sorrow and a wondering of why. The reason why that's coming through is because it's the next stage in your journey. The next stage in your journey is kicked off by the loss of something, not because you have to sacrifice something, but because whatever it was, no matter how beautiful it was tethering you to a past identity. And it was time. Not just time for you, but time for them, right? Oh, and I heard them. So for many of you, this is going to be a person. It doesn't have to be necessarily, but that's the word that came through, was them. So one of the things that is happening here is it's almost the dust will settle. And it's the idea that when the dust settles, then you'll see what's left behind. And this is the point that's going to be made inside of this reading. I feel that you can only know how far you've come after something has been removed and after the dust settles, and you see what you are left with in that empty space. So this is a very powerful moment. Whenever we go through periods like that, this is where we get a chance to go through it and surpass it, right? We get to surpass some sort of pattern. We get to surpass something in our life that we were never able to surpass before. If you're familiar with the tarot and you study the major arcana, if you laid the major arcana out, you could look at it as the Tower card, right? And once you reach that Tower card, you go all the way back to the Hermit. The Hermit has to ask himself, what's in me? What's really going on here? What am I made of? And once he goes through the cycle again and he reaches that Tower, hopefully he can bypass the Tower and move on to the Star, into liberation. So there's some sort of pattern here, or some sort of life story that we are basically being guided to move ourselves out of. Whether you perceive that guidance to be coming from something external to you or a deep part of yourself, right? Okay, now we're coming over here. We have the Sword of Light. We have divine protection, which is what this being is saying is their role. We have many of you, I'm going to say this, many of you, Archangel Michael is coming through very heavy for this energy as well. What I'm connecting to feels a little bit more like a guide. But here we have cords cut and breakthrough energy. So again, some sort of cord was released. This is breakthrough energy. It's a time now where we get to figure out what's inside of us, figure out what needs to be changed, what needs to be transformed, what needs, more importantly, to be integrated into ourself and understood, and what spaces within ourselves we need to love greater, right? And there's a setting of boundaries that needs to come with this, whatever it is. And in this setting of boundaries, this is our shield over our solar plexus space. That's what this is making me think of. This shield over our solar plexus space doesn't just protect our personal power, it protects our inner child. It allows us to not have those reactionary responses that come from that sacral space, right? It's this sort of a shield that's really helping us to operate in agency, right? Being able to make very sober choices, being able to make very conscious choices, rather than being pulled around by the events of life and making decisions based out of fear or based out of a loss of power or based out of like a victim mentality. So whatever's going on here with this protective being, it seems to be removing us and helping us as we are removed is what's really coming through. So I don't know that it has a hand in that. Helping us as we are removed from something that has maybe inadvertently for some of you affected our solar plexus space. I'm going to say this. I don't remember who said this quote. Maybe it was Carl Jung. I can't remember who said it. They said something to the extent of the child must lose the parents to become who they are meant to be, right? And the reason why I'm using this isn't to say that that's necessarily true. What I'm saying is that even if we lose something that's beautiful for us, even if we lose something that we love and that we value and we cherish, sometimes we need to have that loss to separate us in order for our true nature to come forward. And so for some of you, this loss wasn't something that was bad, or you wouldn't ever conceive of it as holding you back. But it was still a loss, right? And so this is why this message is coming forward. It's basically a message that's coming forward for some of you, because maybe it was something negative that you let go of. It's basically saying, good job, right? This is the right direction. Don't worry about it anymore. Keep going. You're going to find things inside of yourself that you never quite saw. For others of you, it's something that we're grieving. It's something that we're sad about. And the message coming forward is one of comfort and hope, saying that, it's okay. This will serve a purpose for you. It's not going to be meaningless or senseless. Like there's a greater plan. Okay. Here we have justice. This feels a bit like advice that's coming through here. When we talk about justice, what we're talking about is balance, right? Allowing ourselves to emotionally balance. When this dust settles, we want to take that time to really emotionally balance so that we can truly see what's there once it does settle. This may be a time out for some of you. You may be finding that you're spending more time alone in this space. You may be finding that you're poring over the details of whatever has just happened, trying to figure out answers. Sometimes the most important thing that we can do for ourselves is to take ourselves out of that game, right? Because that search for answers is really it's natural. It's something that we want as people. But when we have a higher perspective, what we understand is that those answers are never going to come. 90% of the time, those answers will never come. And it's important to balance yourself, find that stability inside of yourself, and create your own sense of closure over whatever it is, right? Okay. There's also this process that's happening here, and I find this interesting. I have a Knight of Pentacles that's upright on the back of the deck. I didn't see that happen. I'll have to, I don't know. And then Queen of Swords back here. So this is the slow approach of some sort of clarity. It's not about the answers. What this is about the scales of Ma'at. And so the scales of Ma'at are basically something that tests the heart of those who have passed against a feather, right? And it's when the heart is lighter than a feather that the soul gets to basically ascend. If it's heavier than a feather, it descends, and there's lessons that have to be learned. There's things that have to be atoned for. What it represents here is there's a process of karma, a karmic clearing that's taking place, hence the Sword of Light. Justice is holding the sword up. The Queen of Swords is holding the sword up. Right now, we may be having to go into the depths with that sword and isolate things deep, deep inside. It's pointing towards the sacral space if we're looking at these as the chakras. And so there's some personal shadow work that might be taking place at this time, right? Things that we never necessarily saw about ourselves, things that we've carried from childhood that may be taking place. And one of the things that's happening here is we're being given an opportunity to let the dust settle, to see what's actually there, so that we can clear out anything that may be causing certain patterns to repeat inside of our life. This is happening so that eventually our heart can be lighter than that feather. Okay, we have the Fool. And the Fool is a perfect example of that. This is kind of confirmation of that for me. Why? Because the Fool is the soul that gets to incarnate. But the thing is, that Fool has that bag that's on that stick on his back. And that bag is everything that he was not able to clear inside of his heart space before coming in. That's one of the reasons why that bag actually looks a little bit like a heart, and anatomically. And on the bag is a pine cone. It represents the third eye. It's the pineal gland. And it's through the pineal gland that we project our reality, right? I perceive, or I see. So the things that the Fool believes, the things that the Fool holds true about itself, about its place in the universe, about its own story, is basically what it projects into its coming life, and is thus the setup for its karma. So again, there's a lot of karmic clearing that's happening here inside of this collective. This dog here is really speaking to me about this protective being that I'm feeling right now. And one of the things that it seems to be doing is it's almost like this cheerleader, right? It's like I come in whenever there's this tower moment, because I know that this is when you are going to grow the most. And you may be finding that in this space there's more direction. You suddenly want to study things that you haven't wanted to study, or you find a person online that can help you that you never found before, or you're getting inspiration for things to journal, or you're getting inspiration for books to read. This is where this is coming from. I really hesitate in speaking about this particular guide as something separate from us, but I do think some of you are experiencing it as something that's separate from you, and so that's why it's coming forward this way for me. Okay. I'm a mess over here. I've got backwards cards, I've got candle wax everywhere. Okay. Yeah. One of the things that's trying to clear out here is some sort of conflict inside the self. Energies of resistance within us that are trapping us, right? The Eight of Swords here. These are energies that are keeping us kind of in this sort of cycle, and they're life lessons here that are trying to heal with the Hierophant. When we have the Hierophant, this can represent healing in institutional settings, but it can also represent healing in terms of our spirituality, a spiritual healing. It can also represent life lessons. So we have heavy karma themes. I mean, I already said it, but like it just keeps getting repeated here, and the world's on the bottom as well. This is about closing out those cycles, right? Closing out those patterns. When we have the world, this is someone that has fully integrated and they're ready to make their own reality, right? Here we have, the Justice, the Hierophant. Like, there's a lot of things about officially ending something, officially clearing something out. This, whatever the pattern is, whatever it is that we've just left behind. And again, I don't feel that for all of you what you've just left behind is something bad or even part of the pattern. It's almost like the space is needed to propel you forward out of a pattern. So the pattern may not even be related to what you've just lost, right? Interesting. Karma. That's what the Devil is. And then we have the Ace of Cups. For some of you, this is emotional based. Usually that's what our karma is anyway. But with the Devil, this is where something's trying to heal, right? This is exactly what's trying to heal here. We may have a habit, and I'm going to say this because the Devil's on the left, Ace of Cups on the right, and the Hierophant sitting between. The Hierophant represents the power to loose and the power to bind. We have the power to allow this to be accepted by ourselves, right? I have this pattern, I have these beliefs about myself, I have these things that are constantly happening, and I accept it. I accept that this is what's going on. Does that mean that I want to go along with it anymore? No, right? But I accept that it has happened up until now. I accept that this is part of me. And sometimes when we are so busy rejecting something, that's where things truly persist. So we might want to look here at what it is that we believe, right? Where is our faith actually placed? That's what the Hierophant is saying to us. What is it? What belief? What thing is it that we truly perceive and believe about our universe that is causing this to happen? Remember, the Devil has its root in the subconscious spaces in the lower world, right? Again, heavy themes about the sacral chakra here. So the shadow, the inner child, things having to do with our early childhood. There's something there that's knocking around that is creating resistance in our life. That resistance will always be resistance with ourselves, right? Whether it's a poverty cycle or it is negative relationships in our life, there's going to be some sort of belief that we have to root out about ourself that we have. Whether this is, I am a victim and everyone else is, always going to be this way. Or if it's that, I'm the kind of person that people will always treat this way. We have to look at the root of whatever that self-belief is, because the fact that the Hierophant is sitting underneath the Fool card, this is a belief about the self for whoever this message is for. And this is something that is keeping us stuck. There's an emotional balancing that's trying to take place here, but in order to do that, it's like our emotions have to be lighter than the devil, right? Our emotional state has to have a lightness to it, not a rejecting of the truth inside of it, right? Some people are very good at suppressing things and pretending everything's okay, and I don't get it. Maybe I don't know why I don't get it. I don't get it. But some people are really good at that, and they go their whole lives doing this and pretending that everything inside of them is okay when it's not, and they'll believe that shit. They will believe that shit. I think there's an art to that. I do, because I don't know how to do it. But if you're one of those people, this is a really good time. If this reading is resonating for you, this is the moment to turn around and face this energy, right? Because you have extra help coming in from this being to do so. Utilize it. Utilize it. The more that we run away from this energy, the more that this energy rules our life, right? Okay, I have more to say about the Ace of Cups now. Right. Okay. So, when we get into this energy here, what we see is we see that dove, right, which represents spirit, is placing the wafer inside of the cup. There's a lot more going on in that imagery, but that's what this being wants me to stick to. It's sanctifying the waters. This protective being right now is taking a little bit more of an active role inside of your life than it normally takes. And one of the things that it's trying to help you do is sanctify the emotional waters. There are things coming up to the surface, and I do feel that for whoever this message is for, it's very important to really have patience and grace and love for yourself enough to do that work for yourself, rather than pretending it's not important or pretending that it's not happening, right? That's not going to be for everybody, but for someone out there, that's definitely happening, because that's why it's coming through with this message of I'm trying to help you sanctify these waters. And one of the things about that is because of this, right? It's trying to start this sort of alchemical process inside of our life. For some of you, you've been on this alchemical process for a very long time. But this is a situation that is almost this aperture within our mind because of the emotions it's eliciting, because of, for some of you, the isolation that's coming about from it. And this is a perfect time to get in there and to root out an energy that has been persistent within our story for a very long time here, right? We came in with it. It's played out in this life, but we came in with it. And this is a really good time to heal that, to be able to have faith in the correct things, believe the correct things about ourselves, and shift our narrative, to shift our story. This is a being that's trying to help us shift. For some of you, you're going to say, shift timelines. That's absolutely fine, however it resonates for you, right, inside your personal paradigm. But this is a being that is trying to, whether you even perceive it as an aspect of yourself, is trying to help you shift into a different energy and into a different lesson, right? A lesson that can be more lighthearted for many of you. The reason why I'm saying that is because we have the Knight of Cups. This is where we cross the water from the dry land to the promised land. And when we have this energy coming forward, what it means is that we don't have to learn the lessons the hard way anymore. You have people out there that'll say you can only learn lessons the hard way. This is not true. This is not true. For someone here, this being is trying to help you alchemize something so that now we can start learning the lessons, because we understand how to accept, we understand how to see, we understand how to hear, we understand how to perceive, right? We understand how to deal with objective reality rather than being stuck in our subjectivity. Our subjectivity is the reason why we keep running into particular tower moments that could be avoided. For some of you, this tower moment you just left behind maybe couldn't have been avoided, right? Especially, for example, if it was the loss of a loved one. But For many of you, though, this is a demarcation is happening inside this healing process that is going to separate a life where we learned everything the hard way because we couldn't accept what was in front of us, and a life where we start to work with the flow rather than against it because this resistant energy is no longer present. This is going to be hard work for somebody. I'm not going to lie about that. We do have the Eight of Pentacles, but whoever this message is for, you are strong with the Strength card showing up. You have what it takes to do this, and essentially what we become at the end of this is we become the High Priestess. This is where we are able to sit in our throne of our personal power, sit and have the intuition to understand exactly where we're being guided, where our soul is trying to guide us, and what lessons it is that we're meant to learn at this time, and we readily accept them. So whoever this message is for, this is taking you into kind of like a badass mode, not gonna lie. It's taking you out of some sort of energy that we've been in, and it's trying to put you into this sort of almost like a spiritual warrior energy. Where we're not afraid of the things, where we're not afraid of what's coming, we're not afraid of what's going to happen, we're not afraid of loss, we're not afraid of what we're going to see inside of ourselves. We're willing to face those things, and it's not, once you get to that place, it's not that it's hard, right? It's natural, it's easy, it's just a state of being, it's an understanding, it's a higher perspective, which is what the High Priestess embodies. So whoever this message is for, I wish you the best of luck with this, and if this reading resonates with you, please hit that like button, feel free to leave me a comment, and until next time.